The beautiful thing about research and education is the fact that we kind of get to take something and go somewhere else in the world and build something new and grow something different.
I am super excited to be a part of this project and a part of this research because it's needed. Now it's getting a little bit better, but it was that taboo of, not going to therapy or, what happens in the house stays in the house. And we are still kind of going through those mantras as we grew up and things like that. And so I'm just excited to see where the research would go and how it will benefit my community.
It was originally not my intention to do private practice, but I did know I wanted to integrate faith and mental health. I didn't know how for a really long time. There's just not a lot of faith integrated theory and practice in the field. And so it's the perfect marrying of being trauma informed and being faith-based.
As I've done research specifically within the Christian worldview and psychotherapy and trauma, and the research done with more of that spiritual intervention piece, I've found that certain approaches of interventions have fallen short where the research has begun, but it hasn't been completed. There's a lot of initiatives, but not a lot of evidence-based approaches.
I exclusively utilize TSI in my, I guess it would be deemed as coaching. I have a background in clinical psychology. I have my master's in clinical psych. I have research experience, a lot of ministry leadership. And oftentimes people can hear truth, but it can be filtered through so many different experiences, mental health symptoms, trauma, all of these different things. And then as a result, depending on what environments you're in, faith, the way it's applied and understood and therefore lived out and believed, may not always jive with what the gospel actually entails. And oftentimes TISI allows you to deconstruct very healthily in a space where we're asking questions that give people the chance to live out the gospel the way it was intended, with agency, with autonomy. And so I'm interested in this research being well known, being well established, so that in church spaces, mental health settings, physical health settings, more types of trauma-informed interventions are provided for and can tackle multiple aspects of somebody's life, including the spiritual.
As a clinician being trained in a secular system, if you will, you're really taught to ascribe to theory. Like, that's a big thing, because that's how it will inform your process and inform your interventions and inform what you're doing. And I found that throughout my training, from the day we took the theory class my first year in my PhD program, I was just like, none of these truly apply. Like, there were things about the interventions that are like, oh, I can do that, but none of them truly applied to what I really knew that the Lord was leading me to on the point of me becoming a clinician and how I was conceptualizing suffering and healing and all of that. I think it just really has helped me gain a lot of confidence and feel very affirmed in what God has called me to do.
Clients that I have continue to work with me because it was something that was so different than anything they'd ever experienced.
I'm a supervisor. I train as well. And so wanting to be able to have that backing, I literally was praying to God about, okay, God, this is what I want to do. Where can I get certified in this? Where can I actually start, moving in this direction?
God will certainly put us on the path to where we're supposed to be, whether we're choosing that path by choice or by force, right? If he has something planned for you, he's going to push you into that direction. And so it's very attractive to me when Conscious and Dr. Rashida came to me to kind of say, hey, we're trying to put this project together. We're trying to validate our instruments, validate the intervention. I think that's so necessary. And some of the teaching that we do with like the biopsychosocial spiritual kind of framework of approaching mental health, or kind of working with people navigating, chronic illness or other aspects. And I often find that people get stuck in conceptualizing the spiritual component when in trying to figure out how the spiritual framework can be utilized to support patients and families and couples and individuals as they're navigating their healing, as they're navigating their experience of having a diagnosis, as they're navigating their trauma. And I just see this as a beautiful opportunity to actually tend to that spiritual component, right? How to integrate it in a very meaningful way. I talk to students all the time and I'm like, are you asking about the various aspects of a person's lived experience, about their faith, about their spirituality? And, they'll go, yeah. And I'm like, okay, that's step one. My second thought is, well, how are you integrating it into that person's goal, into their healing, into their journey? Or if there's trauma there in relation to their spirituality that's really impacting how they're navigating their current circumstance, right? How are you tending to that, right? And so I see the TSI framework just a powerful tool that can, even for our students or clinicians, give them a more tangible framework of, right, how to incorporate spirituality into kind of treating trauma. And so I'm really excited about that, and excited to see what we're going to be able to accomplish.
My entry into the space is really more through ministry, deliverance ministry, specifically discipleship, spiritual formation. And then in 2021, spiritual counseling became like a tool in my toolbox. And the partnership of counseling and deliverance is why Flamingo Trauma Recovery exists. So that's the registered name. That's the nonprofit aspect, where our primary goal was to create therapy access through mental health education and sponsored clinical services. At that time, I was very much like, I'm going to stand on the outside of the industry and just build a bridge for people to be able to get the access that they need from the deliverance religious space into the clinical care space. But what I noticed is that the path of access is two-way, where there are people from the clinical space who want to know more about the spiritual formation and reconciliation to God aspect of their mental health. And then from the church or the religious or spiritual space, there are people who are interested in knowing how their what they know about their faith connects to their mental health. And that I could not just build the bridge, but I also had to help people to know how to cross the bridge. So I get to talk to people who have diverse experiences, and I get to say, okay, well, if you're coming from this side of the bridge, you're going to take your left here. And if you're coming from the other side of the bridge, you're going to take your right here. And to witness everyone in their own space also learn how to do that. I'm a teacher at heart. My why is so that people can get what they need to be able to go make the impact somewhere else and be able to give people the information that they need to cross the bridge that we're building.